Hi, my name is Chen Wang. I am a doctoral student in the University of Auckland. My presentation is Impact Factors for Blended Learning Outcomes in Higher Education, a mixed methods research based on students' perceptions. As we all know, blended learning includes face-to-face teaching and online learning. So blended learning not only concentrate their advantage but also fill their gaps. There have been already lots of research has proved that blended learning has positive effects on students' learning outcomes, and students had positive perception of blended learning. But what I'm interested in is what are the key impact factors for blended learning outcomes. So let's study want to answer this question. Both qualitative and quantitative research methods were used to collect data from interviews of 21 college students and surveys for 638 students in a Chinese college from 2012 to 2013. This study was divided into 3 stages. The first stage was to interview 21 college students to collect their perceptions of all aspects of blended learning, including learning environment, learning resources, learning activities, learning organizations, and instructional design. The second stage was based on the literature review and data from the interview. A questionnaire was designed with 94 items to collect massive data about learners' perception on blended learning, metacognitive ability, learning interest, and self-efficacy. This questionnaire was protested with 141 college students. The final stage was revise the questionnaire and retained 52 items according to the protesting results, and 497 participants were involved in this final survey. So the protesting and final survey were 2 different independent groups of participants. The concept of blended learning is still vague because this concept is too imaginative and can include a lot of elements. In my opinion, it's still a little difficult to distinguish blended learning from other instructional methods because blended learning doesn't have their own unique features. So in my study, I want to adapt this definition of blended learning because there are 2 things I want to emphasize. One thing is blended learning is a systematic combination of face-to-face teaching and online learning. The other things I want to emphasize is the interactions between students, teachers, and learning resources. Based on the literature review, I summarized 5 main characteristics of blended learning. Firstly, the instructional design of blended learning should be based on systematic theory. Secondly, in blended learning, learners are in control, and teachers become planners of learning activities, organizers of learning community, and supporters in the whole learning process. Thirdly, in blended learning, 2 main teaching methods include face-to-face teaching and online learning. Firstly, 2 main learning activities in blended learning include self-directed learning and collaborative learning. The last one is learning environment is crucial for blended learning. The concept of blended learning firstly appeared in China was in 2003. Until now, there have been about 130 studies related to this field. Research methods were diverse, including case study, action study, survey, interview, and experimental study. Research questions were divided into 6 main categories. theory analysis, design and implement, learning outcomes, evaluation, teacher training, and enterprise training. Come back to this study based on the literature review and analysis of 21 college students' interview. I hold hypothesis that learners' perception of these 6 dimensions, systematization, variety, openness, situativeness, collaboration, autonomy, have significant impacts on blended learning outcomes. After investigation, I chose a college in Beijing, China. This college applied blended learning for nearly 5 years. Because of the university's policy and technical support, blended learning has been used very commonly in this college and already achieved remarkable success. Students in this college had plenty of first-hand experiences about blended learning, so they are appropriate samples for this study. So these tables describe the composition of samples. Firstly, gender. There were 330 male college students and 308 female college students. Secondly was grade. So the freshmen were 202 and the sophomore students were 133. Junior students were 213 and senior students were 73. The postgraduate students were 17. I divided subject into arts and science. The arts college students were 318 and science college students were 320. The questionnaire was 5-point Likert scale, made up of 2 parts. The A part refers to learners' perceptions of blended learning and included 19 items. The B part refers to blended learning outcomes, included 33 items. After analyzing the data from the surveys, I found the result that there are 5 key factors have significant positive impacts on blended learning outcomes. The first factor is online learning systematization. So if students can learn complete and integrated knowledge in the process of their online learning, it will have positive impacts on their blended learning outcomes. The second factor is the purposefulness of instructional design. If learners can understand the purpose of teaching arrangement, it will help their improvement of blended learning outcomes. The third factor is the variety of learning resources. Learners enjoy different types to present their learning resources, such as audio, video, presentation, text, pictures, and interactive teaching softwares. The fourth one was the openness of learning resources and teaching information. So if students can get any learning resources or teaching information they want easily, it will help to improve their blended learning outcomes. The final factor was the learning support. So if students can get help in time when they got stuck or feel confused, it will have positive impacts on their blended learning outcomes. The other result is about learners' acceptance of blended learning. There are 4 key factors have significant positive impacts on learners' acceptance of blended learning. The first factor is systematization of face-to-face teaching. So if students can learn complete and integrated knowledge in the learning process of face-to-face teaching, they will become more likely to accept blended learning. The second factor is purposefulness of instructional design. So it's the same factor as I mentioned in the last slide. The third one is openness of learning organization. So if learners can make new friends by blended learning, they will be more likely to accept blended learning. The last factor is the learning autonomy. So if the final course assessment can include self-evaluation, students will be easier to accept blended learning. That is the summary of my study. Thank you for your attention and time. If you have any suggestions or questions, please contact with me. Look forward to your comments. Thank you very much.